I'm gonna hate
Yeah,
this.
that's quite an interesting thing to get into potentially, isn't it?
Yeah, so I mean, I got that experience, so stop it. Hello, everyone. I'm just going to pretend
We're just chatting. Don't mind us.
I'll just pretend no one's there and I'm not on camera for anyone to see.
One person here. So
oh no, don't. You know that this is so far out of my comfort zone. It's like,
I know, and
unbelievable.
Do you know what? I'm so appreciative that you're actually doing this for me. I know you feel coerced, but
I was desperately going to trying to think of an excuse, and I thought, I'm going, no. I've got it. No, there's nothing to do, is there? I can't say I'm going.
You ran out of them.
So yeah, I thought, sod it.
Just massive thank you for actually committing to it, because it does mean a lot,
Do you know what? I've watched quite a few of them, and do you know which one my favourite ever one was? And it was quite a way back. The bees.
The bees. Everyone loves the bees one. That was good, wasn't it?
I was talking to Kaz about that the other day, to be honest. And I said, that is my all-time favourite. It was so interesting.
Yeah.
I love bees anyway, but I thought, how amazing is that?
Yeah. And Matt's so passionate about it. It's kind of...
You can tell, because what he doesn't know about bees is not worth knowing.
I mean, the honey and everything that he... when there's a batch of honey going, we're like, me and my mum and that, we're like right in there.
Yeah, I'd love to try a proper honey like that, not sort of that's been stored in the shops.
Yeah. Oh no, it's so nice, so much better.
I love bees, but I'm not a massive fan of honey, actually. I think it's gross.
Yeah, I don't use a lot of it, but when I do, I want it to be the good stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, I thought that was really, really interesting, and I thought,
oh, glad.
What have I got that's interesting to talk about?
You, my darling, you. Well, let me highlight to the newbies who might be listening either now or on replay. What we're talking about here, folks, is one of the Rebel Role Model interviews that we did. I think it was early this year or late last year, and it was Matt Taylor, my good friend Matt Taylor, who talked to us all about bees and how they are rebellious in their own little version of society, their bee society. It was fascinating. So if you haven't seen that already, the best way to get it actually is on my YouTube channel, which is The Mindset Barista. So spelled Barista, The Mindset Barista. So you can look back on that. MK saying that's the first ever live I watched. Was good.
Do you know what? I think it was my first ever live.
That's cool. We've had some really good ones, and they're so diverse as well. That's the brilliant thing, and it just gives, like you're saying, this is so far out of your comfort zone. I just like the fact it gives people a bit of a chance to sort of stretch themselves a little bit,
I know, and I think, right, you know what? Applaud you if you watch more than 2 minutes of it live or playback.
Well, let me give you an official intro, shall I?
Go on then.
Oh, by the way, we just got somebody in saying hi. I can't see who you are, my love, because you've not given StreamYard permission for your name and photo. So either put in the comments who you are, or perhaps just change your settings a little bit. But hi, anyway. So Sharon is an ex-colleague of mine from, well, I left the company we worked for together in 2009, and we worked together for a lot of years, didn't we? Can you believe that? It's gone so quick.
I know.
And we were all part of the L&D, the Learning and Development team, and we were like one big happy and unhappy family.
Dysfunctional family.
Dysfunctional. We loved each other, we hated each other, and everything in between. And we had some right good rip-roaring times as well, didn't we?
Oh, you know what? I could talk about that all night long.
I know. Well, we could. So Sharon at the moment is having a well-earned break. Are you not?
I am.
And trying to figure out what happens next. That's the sort of key to all this, isn't it? I think there's a lot of people.
$1 million question, isn't it?
Yeah. Any thoughts so far?
I was thinking about getting myself a bit of a sugar daddy, but at my age, they're hard to come by.
Well, you just don't know, do you? So Sharon is a very interesting character, although she would tell us that she's not. She thinks she's very boring. She's got a cracking sense of humour. We've had some right good times over the years. Is a very talented crafter, and many other things in between.
She tries. If you think back over the conversations we've had over the years, unbelievable. How long did we spend in yours that night just shouting Surrey to see which phone it would answer? And we thought that was hilarious.
I tried to get them both to talk to each other.
Yeah. And that was even like, pre-COVID. This was in normal times and we could have actually gone out, but no, we chose to play with Siri instead.
We know how to have a good time.
Oh,
that's so funny.
Yeah, I think was that when I got Bog-Eyed Pete for.
Yes, Bog-Eyed Pete. Yeah,
was that his name?
I think it was the Crazy Eyed Pete, and I think it was called Crazy Eyed Pete because he bit one of his eyes off, and he was like all googly looking.
Yeah,
and then he just tore him to shreds because he loved him too much.
Yeah, a little bit too much, if you know what I mean.
So, would you think of yourself in any way, Shazza, as a rebel?
Do you know what? We talked on Sunday, didn't we? And I was like, yeah, I think I am. And then we talked about the Gretchen Rubin thing, and I thought, I'm going to have a go at that. I'm not a rebel.
Are you not? What are you?
No. Have a guess.
Questioner?
No.
Really? Upholder?
No.
Elijah?
Yeah.
The type. It's got to be one of them.
I'm a really pleaser, apparently.
Wow. That surprises me.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that for 1 minute. I agree that with the answers to some of the questions that I gave.
Yeah.
In terms of, making commitments to either yourself or to someone else, and which one are you more likely to keep up? Yeah, it's a commitment to somebody else.
Right.
I don't think that makes me a people pleaser.
No, it doesn't.
I think that makes me, I don't know, reliable for a want of a better.
Well, yeah.
Sort of.
It is an interesting one because I think it depends how you interpret the questions quite often.
Yeah.
And those of you who have no idea what we're on about, there's something if you look in the welcome module, I think, or the guide, I think they're called now rather than units. There's a survey you can do there to figure out what tendency you have. So there's rebel, obliger, questioner, and upholder. And needless to say, I come out as a rebel. Oh, bloody door's wrong. This happened live. Oh!
Hello. Funny. I don't know what to do now. I've never been on a live on my own. Sing. Maybe not. That's not really a good idea. Can't dance either, so no.
Oh my God, he took so long to explain the fact that he's just got a parcel for me. And then to understand, and he's British, to understand the fact that we're saying to him, just put it in the door. Anyway.
I was offering to maybe sing or dance, but...
And did you?
Neither.
Oh, that's a shame. So I was saying that funnily enough, only 7% of the population are rebels, and that's the category I fall in, surprisingly enough. And I really would have expected you to be in that as well. So that is.
I would have thought so.
Maybe if you answer it at a different time of day, you feel differently.
Yeah, or maybe if I think of different situations when I answer it.
These things have always got that level about them, haven't they?
I think for me, when I've done other types, personality types, I always come out as the same thing. and it's always a very close tie between two.
Yeah.
But that I wasn't expecting that, to be honest.
No, I definitely wasn't expecting that. That's really interesting. So you wouldn't. So would you consider yourself a rebel then? So before, regardless of that, then, what's rebellious about you? I can list a few things for you.
Oh, go on then.
I think you just, you sort of have this ability to sort of communicate how you feel about things, whether you like it or not. For a start,
you mean this?
Yeah. And that, you're not apologetic for that, and I think that's a good thing. And it's, I think we need more of that honesty in the world about how we feel about things, because it's so much easier to deal with that honesty than have people who are like playing games or doing their to your face, and then
no, I don't do that.
It's just a waste of time. Oh, we've got Tracy. Can't figure out how to give permissions. Never mind, Chuck. You're here. That's the main thing. Hello, Charlotte.
Oh God, there's people. Oh my God, there's people.
O2 gang coming up.
Oh God, that's even worse. People I know.
So yeah, I think I always like the fact that you've got this creative streak to you. You just kind of try stuff out that just feels good to you, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, I think going back to the, how I feel before I'll even speak to you sometimes.
Love
but
you
even
too,
when I do, I'm not. Stop. I just think I'm my authentic self. There's only one version of me.
Yeah.
That is the true version of me.
Yeah.
And that's how we got on to, Emma and I were chatting on Sunday, and I said, yeah, this is something that I potentially need help with. Well, two things really. The procrastination is definitely one.
Mm-hmm.
Three. Oh Christ, I'm thinking of more.
Let's see if we can do your therapy.
And I've lost my train of thought now. Being authentic is important to me.
Yeah, same.
And
that can be a rebellious thing in itself.
Yeah, because you don't necessarily, because you're being your authentic self, there is only one version of me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know me in work and out of work, you'll know that there's no pretense.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I might switch on the happy face, if I walk into a training room, but I'm still me.
Yeah.
I think that gets me into trouble quite a lot. So that was what we were chatting about in terms of the professionalism.
Yeah. And I think this is a really interesting concept because, and I've spoken about this a lot actually over the years, this word professionalism, first of all, it's a very subjective word because some people think professionalism is about wearing a pinstripe suit, carrying a briefcase and having to stick up your arse, essentially. And other people think it's about just you don't swear, whatever. And other people think it's about so my version of professional is you do that authenticity that you're talking about. You deliver a service in the parameters it's that are appropriate, and you are able to be yourself throughout that interaction.
Yeah.
And one of the things I'm really passionate about is people who are in jobs or environments where they can't be themselves. But I honestly believe you can be yourself and still be professional.
Yeah.
So when you said to me the other day, you need help being professional, I found that really interesting because I'm wondering where that comes from.
I don't know.
Has anyone ever told you you're not professional?
No.
To wonder where this idea then has been created in your head.
I don't know. I think probably because I know that there are people who behave very, very differently in work than they do out of work.
Mm-hmm.
And people have talked about like putting the professional head on, and I'm like, where's the gummage? I haven't got one of those heads.
Yeah.
So maybe it's kind of stemmed from that.
It's interesting that, because putting the professional head on, like, does that mean you're suddenly a different person? Because to me, I mean, like I can definitely relate with stepping up to the plate. So if I'm working with a client, I don't want to be in slouching sofa mode, Netflix brain empty mode. I need to be on it. I need to be listening. I need to be attentive. I need to be, alert and ready and willing and able to serve that person. Now that's my version of professionalism. I wouldn't think about it as putting a professional head on. I just think of it as stepping up to my responsibility. So let's see what the commenters are saying. So we've got a spade is a spade. I love knowing where I am with you. There you go. That's backing up what I said as well. Shara says, feel like an informal environment maybe, but can still be professional. Yeah. Someone, I don't know who, I think possibly Tracy, is saying, I used to have a work me and a home me. Now I'm older. I am who I am at work and home, but I have a professional manner. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can be different in different scenarios. Like we can adjust, adapt in different scenarios. But if we are ourselves and have an authentic thread running through it all, then you can still be true to who you are, can't you?
I wonder whether it's, I don't know, it's one of those things where you think, right, okay, is being professional meaning that, and I'm going back to the context of the job that we used to do, a trainer, is being professional having everybody sort of minds their P's and Q's, only speaks when they're spoken to, and there's not a smile in the room.
No, that's deadly serious.
Or do we enjoy what we're doing, and do we have a laugh, and do we make friends and feel comfortable?
I hope so. I hope it's the latter.
Yeah, and that's what it's always been, and for me, it's about the result at the end of it.
Yeah, spot on.
Because I don't know. Well, I suppose I don't know how to put it. I suppose sometimes I think, oh, I'm a bit common, me. And does that come across as professional? But you're right. What is professional?
Yeah.
Am I holding myself against an unrealistic standard, or an out of date standard? Maybe, I don't know.
It is a really subjective thing. It's like saying fun. Everyone's idea of fun is very different. And I think probably what when I think back to the days when we used to work together in the environment we were working in, which in many ways was absolutely fantastic, but the number of times, I mean, the term fact find, I've been pulled into a fact find. Was like
I took the notes for them all, love. I had to sit in on them all. That was not pretty.
No, but like that was the fear thing, wasn't it? So maybe it is an outdated standard that's sort of got a bit of a hangover for you.
Yeah,
and I think
possibly.
it had for me for a long time as well. I mean, not just that, lots of toxic places I worked in gave me a big hangover from that perspective. But it was, we had to, at one point we had to be so careful what we said, but actually in hindsight, we're probably just being a bit stupid at, a lot of the time.
Yeah. I suppose I'm thinking back to possibly not the way that I've been managed, but the personality of the manager.
Yeah.
Which was like the absolute total polar opposite to me. So maybe I'm kind of holding myself to that standard. I don't know.
It's possible. I think, you are probably more influenced by managers than you think you are. I certainly have been over the years.
Probably more influenced than I should have been.
Yeah, and that comes with wisdom, doesn't it? Sort of in hindsight, looking
back. Yeah.
I liked what you were saying before about it's the results that are more important, because if going back to that concept of when we've both been trainers and you've got a room full of people who you need to essentially get from A to Z in terms of their learning, so they're ready to go out and do the job that they've been inducted for example. You make that 2 or 3 weeks or however long the induction is incredibly boring, and professional in, you know, the old sense of the word, the results you're going to get are, I believe, are very much lower than the ones you would get if they were actually having a laugh, enjoying themselves, really noticing that they were learning, because it was such a fun experience. And that's surely going to be much more beneficial to a business than you trying to pretend that you are something that you're not.
I mean, at one point, this is, when you look back, I find it absolutely ridiculous. At one point, the focus for, and this was long after you left, Emma, this was only going back a few years, the focus was very much on how we presented the aims, objectives and agenda to the groups, and finding weird and wonderful ways of doing the agenda. And it's like, okay, so we'll cut up the agenda and we'll hide bits in different bits of the room so they can go and find them and put it together. And people were really, you know, trying to come up with these weird ideas of how to do a bloody agenda. And I'm like, put it on the wall.
Just write it on a bloody flip.
Why on earth are we focusing so much on something like that?
That's hilarious. And you know, it's bringing back flashbacks from when we learn accelerated learning, which, don't get me wrong, was an amazing experience and taught me so much that actually then helped in the rest of my L&D career. It's weird when I say rest of my L&D career, because I feel like that bit of my life's over now. It's so bizarre.
It's never over, Emma. Never.
No, that's true. But we were incredibly privileged to get lots of great training like that. But I do remember it going to the absolute extreme. I remember, do you remember Hook Up Hook?
Don't. Yeah. Hungry hippos.
Hungry hippos. And there was all this shit that we had to have to just run an induction that usually involved, there was coconuts, there was
drawn out as a piano keyboard.
Oh, what was that? And people kept saying, surely this is just playing games, like what the hell? Yeah. And it kind of did feel like that.
Who killed the contract? We paid good money to have a replica of somebody's police file created for that.
Do you remember doing the chalk marks with tape around
yeah.
Oh, that was fun though. It was fun.
It was fun. Thank God at the time I wasn't in a position where I had to actually facilitate any of that learning.
It's so hard to get all that shit together for an induction.
Yeah, I know. As the administrator at the time, I know. Like boxes like that of prep.
And you know, I've just had another flashback of me going absolutely mental because I thought someone had stolen my laminated posters.
Oh God, I thought you were going to talk about Koosh Ball.
Koosh Ball Gate. Oh,
Koosh Gate.
Koosh Gate. Oh, I forgot all about that.
Oh my God. And you think about that now and it's like, you laugh, but it's like, that was deadly serious at the time.
Yeah, it was a massive serious. So we need to let people in on what this
we need to explain. So, Emma.
Oh God.
As it was so instrumental to your behaviour at the time. It was. I think it's only time that you explain what Koosh Gate was.
Koosh Gate. So we were all, when we were all in training world, we were all obsessed with having kits of stuff. And one of the things that was like the holy grail for us to have is a set of Kush balls or Koosh balls, whatever you call them. Koosh balls. And for those of you not familiar with a Koosh ball, it's one of those fuzzy things. In fact, I think I've got one.
For God's sake.
Where is it?
Where is it? Ball. Yay!
So these are the very Kush balls that we are talking about from all those years ago, right? The very same ones.
Oh my God.
So yeah, because usually these come in a set of 3 and they're really great for playing training games with, especially in that kind of thing. dead hand. You use them for all sorts. Anyway, they're all you get buy a pack of these 3. And they're different. Each one's different colours, but you buy a pack of 3. It's the same as any other pack of 3 that you'll buy, right? And I all of a sudden one day, and I can't remember the details of it, but I just basically remember one of our colleagues who shall
no names.
Suddenly came up to me and said, "Oh, are they your Kush balls?" "Yes, they are." "Are you sure?" "Only I've lost mine." "Right, okay, but these are mine." And that just went on and on and on and on, didn't it?
On, yeah.
And so I only saw my end of it, and I'm assuming that there was other perspectives of it that I perhaps wasn't party to.
Maybe.
So what else happened?
I can't remember. It was a long time ago. I just remember it was really hilarious because you were going nuts over these Kush balls that somebody was claiming was theirs, and
accused me of stealing.
Oh, God, honestly.
And then this other person was probably going nuts thinking that I'd stolen them.
Oh, actually, there was lots of more important and expensive stuff going missing every bloody day.
Yeah. I remember the fish video. Do you remember the fish video being kept under lock and key? Crazy.
Oh, it was the Ibiza key, wasn't it?
It was the
Ibiza key to the cupboard. And that went missing as well.
Forgot all about that.
I know.
Oh my God, the times we've had. The times we
anyway,
had.
Going back to the objectives thing, and the trying to think of different ways to set your objectives, I thought, doing that. Kind of bought into it for a couple of minutes and then thought, no, I'm not playing treasure hunt for the agenda for my course. It's on the wall, you know what I mean? Deal with it. So that I rebel against things like that all the time in the workplace because it's the result that matters to me and not, doing the ridiculous games every 5 minutes. And they're not games like we used to play. And there is no time anymore for the name a chocolate bar game and crap like that. But even the games or the activities that are in the training materials, I think some of them are a waste of time. So I just don't do it.
And is that your version of rebellion that you just won't do it, or do you stand up and go, "Sorry, not doing it"?
I just don't do it. I do it a different way.
Fair enough.
And I think that's it. For me, I do things my way.
Yeah. But it's important, like you do go back to that authenticity thing. It's important that you do it your own way. Like, how many times have you had to train something that you don't believe in, or I remember many times having to train stuff that I knew was going to piss people off, and it pissed me off.
Or was garbage, or was out of date, or whatever.
Yeah, or it's just like really not the right decision to make, or whatever.
So if someone says to me, you need to get to number 8, and the way you get to number 8 is 4 plus 4, and you must do it that way, and I'm like, well, no, because I can go 5 plus 3.
Yeah.
And that takes me to 8. Or I can go 7 plus 1, and I'm there.
I love that.
It's like, what's the difference? And I know, I'm not stupid. I understand that, there is a good reason for it, allegedly scientific for the learning purposes and, consistency. But, we're churning, I'm still talking about previous job, we're churning out hundreds of people almost on a conveyor belt. You need results.
Yeah.
And there's better ways of getting those results.
I agree. MK says sometimes finding your own path allows you to improve an area in which others may not see because you deviate. That's very true. Sometimes by even just asking the question, is there a different way we can do this? You're shining a light on things that people perhaps wouldn't normally see.
Yeah.
And it encourages others to challenge as well. I love a healthy challenge, and would always encourage people to do that, particularly in corporate environments, because you get sucked into the sheep mode, don't you, otherwise? I'm having all sorts of flashbacks now. One of the pig game being banned. Do you remember that?
Oh, for God's sake, yeah.
Cheryl says you have to adapt to the room too. Yes, you do. Absolutely right.
Yeah. If you don't get the buy-in of your learners, there's no point. You're just flogging a dead horse, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh God, I'm having all these memories flooding back now, Shaz.
Oh, it is funny.
Carla under a desk, laughing her head off.
Yes. Carla's shoes in the lift with Carla not in the lift.
Carla commenting on headline about
correspondent. Carla, the news correspondent.
What was the thing about the tracksuits?
The what?
Was it a Guantanamo Bay thing or something?
No, right. So let's just put a bit of context on this again. So a lady on our team, one of our admin ladies on the team, Carla, love it to bits.
Amazing.
Just 2 short planks. Not a bit of common sense in that body of hers. But she is just the most lovable person you'll ever meet.
She really is.
She's not well up on current affairs or, anything. Well, anything really. I don't know even how it came about.
It was some really flippant comments she made, wasn't it, about what they were wearing?
I don't know, but anyway, you're right. She made some comment about something that was in the news, and it was kind of half right and half wrong. So all of a sudden, the next day, we put her in a pair of glasses and her chewing a pen, while she's given us an update on the world headlines. So, correspondent Carla.
It was something like, why are they all wearing orange trackies? They just look...
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, why are they all wearing orange?
Yeah, something like that. Cheryl wants to know what the pig game is. So the pig game is we used to think of it as an energizer or an icebreaker.
Yeah. Draw a pig.
Yeah, you'd sort of say to people, right, you need to draw a pig, and then the different things, parts of the body, the way you're drawn them, were supposed to represent certain things about your personality, and the tail was some sort of sexual reference, wasn't it?
Something to do with your sex life or something.
Yeah. So that was like a dead popular game that trainers used to play, and I think someone must have complained about it at some point. That it was.
I just got a recent flashback to that. I'm sure that was mentioned on a contract I worked on a couple of months ago.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
So funny.
Surely people can still play that though.
MK refuses to do role play because people on my team hate them. Yeah. You know, it's weird that everybody I've ever trained hates role play apart from salespeople. Salespeople, not all of them, but a lot of them seem to really love role play.
Yeah.
Like proper focused salespeople that are just made for that kind of job. Yeah. Not all of them, granted.
Different breed.
Yeah.
Different mentality.
Yeah.
To be fair, I managed to get a group of people to do role playing over Teams.
That's good.
I told them it was part of the assessment, so they didn't have a choice. But it was because I had doubts about a few of them in that group, and I thought, right, okay, let's have a crack at this and see how it goes. And actually, they all blew me out of the water, so that told me. But no, I'm not a massive fan of role play, and if I can avoid a role play at any cost, I will do.
Yeah, same. Yeah. MK says generally the ones who like it are the ones delivering it. Yeah.
No.
I was not made to be a trainer. Emma made me as good as I was ever going to get. Oh, Trey. Aww. You've got so much personality though, and energy and enthusiasm that you are absolutely made to, be in the front of a room and exude that enthusiasm into a group.
Oh, bless.
Oh. It was good times that was on the companion team. So what's going to happen in your future as regards rebelling then, Mrs.? Any plans?
Don't know. No.
Just cruising, seeing what happens, aren't you?
Yeah.
Exploring.
Or as I told my job coach this morning.
Oh, yeah.
I just said, looking at all the usual places and looking in some unusual places as well. She was like, oh, how do you mean? So I was like explaining that, you know, I'm part of a group on Facebook, and, you know, it's full of really a massive, diverse range of people who have got all kinds of skills and all kinds of contacts, and, you know, somebody might see something that they like.
Yeah, that's so true. It's, you know, it's a network to tap into, isn't it?
Yeah.
What
Even
if
if it's,
go on.
Go on.
I was just gonna say, if you could do anything for a living, what would it be? Have you ever thought about that?
I've always had a problem with that.
Have you?
Yeah.
Why's that?
Always. Because I never knew what I wanted to be.
I don't think I did until
It was something different all the time. Every week in school, it was always, I want to be something different.
Yeah.
I think the two things that I wanted to do for the longest were hairdresser. Good God, I can't let anyone loose with me on the hair. Or something to do with travel.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see you doing
But,
that.
you know, wasn't to be.
It's like, I think Ali Archbold and I said this actually when we did her role model thing, that learning and development or training tends to be something that finds you, isn't it? And I never knew what I wanted to do when I was younger, and then I found training and L&D, and I was like, this is it, this is my career. Did that for 20 years, and then I realized, that's not actually what I'm meant to be doing anymore. Having said that, all of those years gave me so much experience to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, there's very few people in this life that go through their entire life and know exactly what they want to do and still want to do it every 10 years the same, you know?
That's why when I saw Stephen's post earlier today, it kind of struck a chord, because we've talked about this before, you know, and I've posted on this group a couple of months back about purpose, identity.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you're in the same job for such a long time that you are almost part of that building, part of the foundation of that bloody company.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you, and all of a sudden you're not that anymore. So I'm not Sharon the trainer anymore. So what am I?
Yeah. That's a big deal, isn't it? Because I think that's happened to a lot of people in 2020, particularly when, if they've been furloughed or whatever,
Yeah.
and they've been sitting in this space where they've suddenly got to be, okay, just me. Who am I then? Because, and I've said this so many times, you know, when we introduce ourselves to people, they always say, "Oh, right, what's your name? What do you do?" You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's not what's your name, who are you, or what's your name, what's important to you, or what's your
Tell me
name,
about
what
you.
brings you joy, you know. Yeah, exactly. And I think people are waking up to the fact that that's actually probably more important, and that can be a bit of a clue as to where you're actually meant to be in the world.
Yeah, I think if somebody said to me, you know, who are you and what do you do, I wouldn't know how to answer that question. What do I do? Managed to fill my time somehow, but, you know, what do I actually do?
And sometimes it's a change in the question, isn't it? So rather than what do I do, it's maybe who am I?
Yeah.
Big question to explore.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
who
for
am I?
me,
What makes me happy?
going back to that, you know, what's next for me? Wouldn't necessarily say it would be L&D again, or a similar role, but I think it's got to be something with people.
Yeah, helping people in some
Yeah,
way.
it's got to be. Yeah, and you know, that's a conversation I have had with the job coach that I've spoke to since signing up for lovely job seekers allowance.
We've got to be there
Keeps me in flags and Pepsi Max, love, so we're all right. And when we were talking this morning, she said, you know, what kinds of jobs are you looking for? And I said, well, when I go onto a job site, I don't put anything in the search field. I just leave it blank. She was like, oh, right, why'd you do that? I said, because I don't want to pigeonhole myself into a particular role. And if I was to put the title of my last job into a job search, it'd be like, what what is that title? What does that mean? Because it was a fancy name for a trainer.
What was it? The latest title?
Learning and Development Practitioner.
Ooh.
I know. Fancy.
Someone's saying, bloody lovely person, that's who you are, Shazza. But we can't see who it is.
Oh, it's got to be somebody that doesn't know me.
Do you know, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I know they've got to have systems for finding people jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe there's better ways to match people to jobs. So I knew a company who, I'm assuming they're still going, who would recruit. They would essentially provide recruitment services for customers, but rather than matching skills and experience to a job description, they would match them by their values first.
Do you know what? That's a really good idea, that is. Because you know as well as I do, and it's got worse over the years.
It was Maz that says you're lovely.
Oh, was it? Oh, hi. You know as well as I do, and I've said this loads of times, and Maz will know this as well, that, you know, the calibre of people that, you know, you bring into an environment like a call centre where it's high turnover, we all know is not great.
Yeah.
And sometimes you wonder, how on earth did they get that job?
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyone can behave in a certain way for an hour for an interview.
Yeah.
So, you know, say what you want in an interview.
And
as long as, you know, you haven't... I'm not going to swear. I was going to say if you
slapped someone in the
face.
Yeah. And it's true. It's a bit of a minefield, isn't it? Because people, and even for the first, you know, week or month, you get new people in who just behave themselves, and then all of a sudden, when they get settled, you're like, who is this person?
Yeah. And on the other hand, as soon as they get through the door, it's like,
yeah,
like they can let off the lead.
Some of the things, shocking things we used to see, like people would just, that people would wear, for example, or how they would behave. It'd be like controlling a rabble of kids, wouldn't it? Quite often.
Feral cats. Feral cats.
Cat herding.
Yeah.
Tracy said, I have a side variety of experience in loads of areas, so I don't have a clue what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
That's the thing, isn't it? If you're starting to look, if you look for things because of the experience and skills you've got, sometimes that actually is a bit of a wild goose chase, because you're chasing the wrong thing, because you're not asking the right questions of yourself.
I think for the job that we've done, there's a lot of transferable skills. And like you said, that job that you did in the past has led you to where you are now and made you who you are now.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because I mean, you know, look at the paid membership Rebel Yell. I'm creating coaching programs with real sound learning methodology backing it up, and I'm taking that for granted a lot of the time because it's just what I do, and I've done it for a couple of decades. But I'm building these programs that, you know, I'm getting amazing feedback from them already. We've only launched one module so far, and I just have a, you know, a sixth sense, and you'll have this as well, of how to, if you get, you know, if you identify what the results are, you just, the method to deliver those results just sort of reveals itself, doesn't it? Which is the opposite to, how can we make an agenda really exciting by hiding it around the room?
Maz will know that, you know, that was a thing, and I just hated it. I thought, not a chance.
Yeah. MK says, don't put yourself into a box. MK is the master of
exactly. Exactly. That's the thing, and that's what I was saying to the job centre lady this morning. You know, I'm not putting anything in that search field because I don't want to put myself into that box.
Yeah.
And like I said, you know, if you put that job title in, it'd be like no search results found, because it's the most pretentious title ever. And you never know what will come up just out of the blue. And a lot of job titles don't actually reveal what the job is.
No, it's true.
Or, you know, lead you to believe it's one thing and it's something completely different. And like, you know that, you know, learning development practitioner, learning development facilitator, learning development consultant.
Partner.
Yeah. Even learning and development coordinator means different things to different companies, because some are after an administrator, a coordinator, and some are looking for somebody who designs material, facilitates that material, and does the evaluations for the whole cycle. So, until you read into those job descriptions, you don't know.
That's so true. Mars said you've got a great opportunity to be whoever you want to be without having to be defined by a role. That's great advice.
Yeah, and so was Mars.
Yeah, that's true. Mars is doing her own thing and beautifully creative. It's Cheshire Wax, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah.
Big plug Cheshire Wax there. Beautiful.
On Cheshire Wax, people. It's beautiful too.
In fact, wax melt bar from Cheshire Wax.
There we go. They smell divine, don't they?
Wow, they are gorgeous.
We've got a comment that says the employee relations consultant job spec from today is a perfect example of
that's Mars. Yeah, so employee relations consultant. I thought, oh, that sounds all right. I'll have a look at that. So I looked at the job and I'm like, nope, that's an HR business partner role. And I thought, I know the ideal person for that job. But it turns out that that's a bit of a duff advert that's been up for ages and isn't actually available anymore.
Oh, that's the other thing. It's a bloody minefield.
Yeah, and I think that's becoming more common. I know for a contract I worked on recently that they were still advertising for a permanent role. And when I talked to their training manager about it, she was like, oh, Jesus, we should have took that down ages ago. That role's not available.
It's not good. It's
just people that have applied for it had not heard anything.
This is why networking, I think, is incredibly important. If you've got a good network and you're talking to people, you're getting out there, having conversations, like we said, Rebels and Rule Breakers is a great network already. The more conversations you have with people. I said this to Cheryl the other day. We were on the phone talking about, how do you get yourself out there? The more doors you open, and you sort of alluded to this before, you never know, what conversations could lead to other things. What chain of people you might end up in contact with.
Put yourself out of your comfort zone by doing ridiculous things like this.
Like this, exactly. You never know who might spot you and go, actually, Shaz might have the skills we need.
I'm available.
There we go. I feel like
I'm cheap, but I do.
I'm pimping her out, everybody.
Pimp away, love, pimp away.
Pimp away. That sounds like some kind of groovy company name, Pimp Away.
No, it sounds like some kind of extraction.
Yeah, maybe skin dermatology thing.
Yeah.
MK says people open doors to opportunities in all areas of life. Absolutely right. And Cheryl says, who you know, not what you know, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of the time it's about being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, quite often is. Yeah.
And
you have to be able to spot what some of those right places and right times are, because it can be really easy to write things off. Like, you might have somebody in your network who does whatever job or is in whatever world, and you might think, oh, well, they're not probably the kind of person I need to speak to, but you never know who they know or what they know or what they've got going on the side or, whatever. So it's, I'm always open to conversations with pretty much, like I'm on LinkedIn all the time. I do one-to-one, and I massively recommend this to anybody. Do one-to-one networking all the time. I must meet an average of about probably 3 to 6 new people every single week. Now that's intense because I've got the time to do that. Well, but I've got the autonomy to do that. But the number of doors that have opened for me as a result, and the people that I know, and I don't discriminate. If somebody says, hey, let's chat, unless it's like obviously a pushy sales thing, then, and even then sometimes I'm quite open to having conversation because you just never know. What was I going to ask you? What about role models that you've got that might be quite rebellious, people that you know or know of that are good sort of ambassadors for rebellion, do you reckon?
Number one, Number one.
Go on.
It's got to be Kaz.
Yeah. So our Rippers, Master Rebel Ripley, you guys will know her.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How would you describe Ripper's style of rebellion? Where do you start?
God, that's a question. Where do you start?
I've often tried to describe Ripley to people who've never met her, and it's a challenge because it's like there's so much,
Yes.
to go with.
And it's not because there's nothing to say, it's because there's so much to say.
Yeah. Like, how do you actually encapsulate a person like Rippers with
You
mere
can't.
words?
You can't.
No. It is a tricky thing. What would be some of the what would you find? What is it you'd find inspiring about Rippers that's quite rebellious? Let's narrow it down that way. Free spirit, Cheryl.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she is. She is. And you know what? Karen works hard for everything she achieves, but she does it her way and on her terms.
Oh, that's giving me goosebumps. That's so true. That's really true. Because, I think that's something that I've always found really inspiring, actually, and I've tried to model it over the years, that if there's something that Rippers is interested in, wants to commit to, then she'll absolutely launch herself into that.
Yeah.
If it's not going to interest her, or it isn't her thing, or it doesn't feel good, then she also very politely and clearly declines, moves away from it, says no.
Do you remember that time we used to have conversations? I don't know whether you were still there, actually, about how to politely decline something with somebody.
We did a masterclass on it. A couple of months ago, we actually did the art of saying no masterclass.
Oh gosh, you did, yeah.
Yeah, and Ripper's mum's strategy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Heavily.
That was the strategy. That is the strategy.
Amazing.
Very much, but on this occasion, I'm going to have to say no.
Absolutely. It was a great workshop, that was, at Ripper says. Shameless plug, guys. If you want access to that, you need to join Rebel Yell.
And also, check out Smoky Quartz readings as well.
Smoky Quartz reading. We're doing some beautiful plugs tonight.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because that's the thing. Karen found her purpose. Like going all like weird on it, but that's always been Karen's purpose. It's just taken her till now to realise. It's not that she hasn't done it before and hasn't had that ability before. But now she's realised that that's what life's all about for her, and the importance of it. And
it's a shame that it takes that long, isn't it? But I mean, it's the same for me. It's taken me till I'm 40, whatever, to realise exactly where
never 40, whatever. Shut up, 40, whatever. I'm 50. And I still don't even know what I want to do.
But I think for a lot of people, it does take. I think for the younger generation, they're like, no, I want to spend my time doing something I enjoy. Or a lot. I'm not blanketing there, but for people of our generation, that's not a concept we've been brought up with.
No,
so it takes a long time sometimes, and if ever, to figure out, why am I actually here? Age is just a number, MK says. Bless you. You say that with benefit of some more youth than Shazza and I.
It's a big arse number. But yeah, and that was that kind of the Karen thing, and she that is her purpose. She was born to do that.
MK's put in NYFO.
No, you fuck off.
So funny. We've not had an NYFO hashtag for a while, actually, have we?
I always do it.
I remember when. Eh?
I always do it on text to cars.
So funny. She did a No You Fuck Off video, actually, when she first sort of stepped into Master Rebel role a few months ago. She did a video and it was really funny. Age is just a number. Gender is not a barrier. Be who you are and you will find your calling. MK, that's like a tagline for you.
I know.
That's cool. Nice one. So, Rippers is the first rebel you can think of that was,
Oh God, yeah, she always has been. She always has been.
Anyone famous?
Anyone famous? God, now you're asking.
I always ask this, and then internally I think, who would mine be though? And I never quite answer it in my own head.
There you go, and I don't know. Who is a rebel with a good cause?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is it? And even sometimes it's recognizing. So there are people that in the limelight who I recognize as being rebels in the sense that I always talk about, which is being yourself unapologetically.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily agree with them or support them. So, for example, topical, Piers Morgan. He's just who he is. He knows exactly what he's doing, playing the media.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
Who he is, and he says what he thinks.
Yeah, he is his authentic self.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because he's a bit.
You might not like it, but he
goes a bit too far. Yeah. For his role, I think he went a bit too far, but I don't disagree with, what some of the things he says. And I've started listening to his audio book, and actually, I was surprised with how much I agreed with. And this was pre all of this dragon thing. But, I was quite surprised about how much I agreed with some of the things he said.
Some of the stuff he talks about guns in America and things like that, absolutely support.
Yeah. And do you know what? Alex was damn right to stand up and say that to him on that occasion. And I've seen that happen a few times on GMB. There was a particular time when they were talking about knife crime, and I can't remember his second name. His nephew or some relative was stabbed to death,
right?
And Piers was going on about whatever he was having, his little rant, and Alex was quite upset because it was quite raw to him, and he stood up for himself and his cause at that point as well. I thought, good on you. But when he did that the other day, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. And I thought the way he did that was actually beautifully dignified. He was very measured, very calm, very assertive, but not aggressive. And really, was like, he must have been, because the people behind the scenes must have been partly crapping themselves and partly like, oh my God, this is going to get us amazing ratings. But
I think
he just carried on, and he was determined he was going to get his point across regardless, and he did it in a very, very mature, elegant way, I thought.
And I think part of me thinks, was that staged? Because if somebody...
You're so sceptical.
Yeah, but if somebody had stood up to you like that, and you are Piers Morgan, you don't just get up and go, well, that's it, I've had enough, I'm off. He's never backed down from an argument in his bloody life until then. So why?
I think there was a real ego issue there, because Meghan's like, hurt his feelings or whatever. But I do think part of it is he absolutely knows, no PR is bad PR, is it?
I know. And, part of me wonders whether he was that shocked that somebody has finally stood up to him in a way that he can't argue back with, because how do you come back to that?
MK said, I think he says 99% of what people think and want to say. It's a fair point. Like his views on a number of things, but doesn't know when to stop and think either. That's true. Alex needs a job as a presenter, not a weatherman. And actually, MK, I thought about that Alex must feel sometimes like he's quite easy on the sidelines and must get so fed up of biting his tongue and not saying the things he wants to say, watching Piers do his thing.
That was brilliant.
It really was.
Yeah.
I mean, I went on Google and watched it. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? What's all the big fuss about? And watched it, and I was like, ooh, go girl.
Well, again, it's not going to stop Piers from popping up somewhere else.
That's it. Yeah,
he feels that his point, whatever role he's in or whatever he's doing, that his point is important and needs to be out there for us all to hear. So he doesn't care, does he? He'll come back in some way, shape, or form.
Of course he will. Yeah, he'll be fine. Totally fine. Well,
yeah,
on
that's
that
a really good example.
He's what? Sorry.
That's a really, really good example.
Yeah, yeah. He's got a new job back on ITV. Apparently, Shazza says.
Has he?
Shazza says that could be a whole new line of something.
Couldn't it? Oh, Shazza says.
Shazza says and Shazza says.
Yeah.
I've never called Cheryl Shazza before. I don't know if that's okay or not.
Do you know what I always find, regardless of the situation, that I don't ever introduce myself as Shazza to people, but people always end up calling me Shazza without any form of invitation or discussion. It just happens.
Yeah, I'm always really aware of what I call people, and probably the reason that started is because my brother, David, as I was going to say, my brother prefers to be called David than Dave, so I always ask. Apart from that time where I've called Shazza.
Yeah. So, you know what? I don't care what you call me anyway. You call me Shazza, I don't mind. It's, you know. But yeah, it's weird how it always happens without any kind of discussion or invitation.
Yeah. What now we're talking about sort of media and things like that. What's a good book that because you do a fair bit of reading, don't you?
Oh God, I only read trash novels. Well, I don't read anymore. I listen. It's all Audible at the minute, and it's all trashy novels. However, I was watching This Morning last week. She says, "Da-na-na-na-na," and
do that all the time.
Was it This Morning? I don't know. I don't know whether anyone will have seen this, but there was a lady on there called. This is going to bloody start playing now, isn't it? There was a lady on there called, and I can't tell you because it won't come up. Anyway, basically, I don't even know whether it was This Morning. It was something on daytime telly. And it was the story of a lady who had been married to this guy and then finds out that he had another family. But he didn't just have one other family. He had loads of them.
Jesus, that's a lot of work, isn't it?
Her name is Mary Turner Thompson.
Oh.
So it's called, she's got 2 books. This is how long the story is.
Wow. And are these autobiographical?
Yes, yeah. It's the story of how she met him, their marriage. I don't want to give too much away, but the fact that his whole family was in on it, they all knew that he had these multiple families and dozens of children. He fleeced her out of all of her money, basically, before she got rid. So there's 2 books, The Bigamist and The Psychopath. And it's her true story of her husband's ultimate betrayal.
Wow. In 2 parts, essentially.
Yeah, basically, the way she found out was she got a phone call one night from some woman going, this is such a body's wife. And she's like, well, actually, no, I'm such a body's wife.
Oh, my God.
And then it snowballed to find out that he's got dozens of them. His family's fully aware of what's going on, and he's got multiple children everywhere.
Wow, that sounds well juicy.
I know, those 2 are next on my list, but I'm just listening to trash at the minute.
What's your favourite trash at the moment?
Well, I've done all of the bloody... I can't even think of anyone's name at the minute.
Was this in America, MK said, the Mary Turner Thompson thing?
No.
Even better.
She's English.
English. Bigamy.
But the thing is, she just looks like a normal woman, you know, that you meet in the street, your auntie or whatever, you know.
Wow.
Anyway, I can't even think. Sophie Kinsella, I've done all of hers.
Oh, yeah.
Who else? Paige Toon. She writes quite similar novels to Sophie Kinsella. Oh God.
Tracy's on Audible now.
Eh?
Tracy's getting on Audible now as we speak.
Wow, it's right. I bought extra credits to get those 2 books. Oh, I'll tell you who else. You know that Georgia Toffolo? Toff.
Oh, Toff, yeah, who's mates with Boris's dad.
Yeah, did you know she wrote a book?
No.
Meet Me in Hawaii.
Wow. What kind of book is it?
Don't know. I'll tell you now.
Oh, the Sarah Payne story. Interesting.
It's a happily ever after story.
Oh, lovely.
You know what I mean? It's like that. Oh no, I've split up from somebody, and then I find somebody else, and it's all great and happy. Which we all are, but
it's a bit
quite funny, easy listening, and help me go to sleep.
Tracy said her books are racy. That's her second book. Which one were we talking about? Sophie Kinsella.
Oh, they
Page Toon.
Page Toon's books are racy. Are they?
I don't know who she's referring to be fair, because the comments come through delayed, don't they?
She must have fell asleep and missed that bit.
Cheryl said, never mind finding a new job, write a book of training tales. Oh, yeah.
I always said, and I've said to many, many, many training groups, one day I'm going to write a book.
Oh, Toff's books are racy, Tracy said.
Oh, are they? Oh, she's done more than one. Oh, I might have a look at that then. I think I did put it on my list.
I definitely think, we've got plenty of tales between us all to make.
Oh, my God, yeah. Tales of learners, tales of us, antics.
And with a special feature for Lynn's...
Lynnisms. I was going to say the Lynnisms.
Left, right and Chelsea.
Yeah.
Finding a pin in a pile of A.
Like looking for a pin in a pile of A.
And then there was mine that made a special entry, which was poke me with a fork, I'm ready.
Oh, I still say that now.
With a fork, I'm ready.
And also, you know what? The whole no question is a stupid question. No, I beg to differ.
Except
I've had every stupid question you can think of and more.
Oh God!
And I always say that to people. I know they say no question is a stupid question. I disagree, but ask away anyway. You never know. I might know the answer. It's like I said to you the other day. I'm just like an encyclopedia full of useless information.
Cheryl's saying WTF. I'm assuming to our weird sayings.
Well, the fact that
I wish I had a copy of the Lynnisms book, because I only remember a couple of them.
Yeah.
So funny.
The funny thing is, though, she still does it now, but on text with predictive text.
That's even better.
I just
mentioned.
She must just slap the keyboard or something, see what happens. Oh God! Yeah, you're right. Though a book could be quite easily written.
Definitely.
Maybe that's my purpose.
Maybe it is. That's what. Well, that's what Cheryl's saying.
Stephen Whitten puts the link back in again, the right link to the session. I'm going to join it tomorrow.
Which one?
The purpose. Finding your purpose.
Right. Oh yeah, Stephen, put the right link in. We still can't get in, dude. Anyway.
I've tried to stalk him on LinkedIn. I've tried to search for it on LinkedIn and I can't find it. So
that's so weird. What's he done? Have you, so Cheryl's had subtitles switched on for this, or somehow, or whether it does it automatically. No. The subtitles have been really funny, apparently. I love that idea.
Oh,
okay, cool. So, well, that has been over an hour, Shaz. Can you believe it? You were convinced that we weren't going to get decent conversation out of this, and I think it's been really fun.
Do you know what? It has been fun. I don't know whether anyone else will have found it fun or the least interesting, but yeah, and I hate all this shit.
What's all it? Oh, the opposite thing.
This.
It's really weird. For anyone watching, we're not really this way round, with the other way round.
Christmas. Yeah, I don't know.
I thought you were going to lift yourself up and flash.
No, I just didn't want to hoist my bosom. It's bad enough seeing from there down. Oh, okay.
Cheryl
Oh,
says it's lovely to meet you, Shazza.
oh, lovely to meet you all. I can't wait to read the comments, honestly. I'm never going to watch it back.
You are, because I'm going to
I,
send you a link to it, mate.
oh, I can't watch it back. Maybe I could watch it back. No, I can't. I was thinking of a way to do it without actually listening to it, but seeing the subtitles, because if they're funny, I'll go for that.
I love it. Thank you so much, mate. I've really enjoyed this. Stay in the broadcast room when I end the broadcast, but for the purposes of the viewers, huge thank you. If you've got a great job that you think Shazza would be suited to, then let us know.
Open to all offers. Just let me say, I denied ever putting my name in that fishbowl. This is so far out of my comfort zone that you would not believe. I never even switched my camera on for training. However, I would highly recommend it because it is a hoot.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. That's really, really
welcome,
good.
love.
I'm going to use that as a soundbite.
Oh, God.
Thank you so much, mate.
Oh,
really enjoyed it. And thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. Genuinely, if you've got any ideas for Sharon about what she could do, or like contacts that you might have for her, honestly, I'm sure Shazza won't
hit me up.
Message.
We're not just talking about work.
Right, anyway, you and I both, mate.
Yeah. And if you've watched from start to finish, God help you. Yeah, well
done. And if you are watching on replay, please let us know. Put something in the comments so we know that you're hearing us. Love you loads, everybody. Love you too, Shazza.
Oh, you too, Ems.
Have a nice evening, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.